vessels of power and might, and gave themselves mighty names. And even as they did these things, they themselves were not deceived, because they could look up and see the true glory of the might of me and my brothers shining brightly in the sky. So they carefully studied me, the brightest of the stars in the sky's lights, and they could see that I had shined with a rich redness that glowed like a great jewel in the velvet blue of the night, and that the Creator had hung me in such a way that I appeared the same to all sons of men, those of the north road, those of the south road, those of the east road, the roads of the west. To all it was the same. They could not understand that this was the wisdom of the Creator, who wanted all of the sons of men to share his light equally. For all those were created by man, giving me a great tailed ribbon of red light, trailing down to the earth, connecting them with me. So the dark ones studied my ways and evaded my power, and their jealousy grew within them, and the anger smoldered in their hearts. So they convened among themselves how to advance the plans for these mounds, so they might alight with the light and the other lights in the sky, to hope that they could harness the powers. As their greed and lust for power grew, so did these great earthworks. They captured and enslaved the gentle woodland people in the great forests beyond to labor for them on these mounds, cruelly driving them with little rest or food. So with all these great efforts, they could not bring down to earth the great powers of the sky. And when they saw that their mounds grew even darker and cunning, they began to devise clever tales, their own about me, my brother's lights in the sky. They told false reasons for these matters written in the sky by the hands of the Creator. The tales were twisted and evil, and they had no true meaning of skylight, for they were fashioned with the malicious murmuring of the underworld, whose voices their dark mound lords preferred over the bright sky voices. In time, they would to believe in those dark tales and forget the ways of the light and the sky. And when they dark lords, darkness, were now beloved, they became embellished and sought out to increase their own structure and more. So they created elaborate rituals to present before the people. They designed towering headdresses of great feathers and intricate breastplates of beads and golds and jewels. They chose one among them to be a chief, whispered many dark and evil incantations, marked their hands with bloody sacrifices, and declared this one was the true me, Redhorn. Now come down to earth. They took this one they chose, they painted him all red all over. They gave him a great red horn, my own mighty comet tail. And then they created ear ornaments with faces both east and west to represent the eyes of the Creator Father, who saw all men equally. But the humble woodland folks, they were not deceived. They slipped away, and they could and continued to reach up to the sky with their hearts and worshiped only the true Creator Father of the skies and not the false earth gods. And their Creator Father heard the cries and his gentle, faithful children and answered and moved with his power and might. Weakness and disease came down upon all that had left themselves up even. They were only common men. Harnesses came upon them. Their kingdoms collapsed around them, and in time they swore of all majesty and might in the eyes of the people they opposed. And the wild vines grew up around the crumbling earthworks, and the gentle woodland people returned to their sacred waterlands and cleaned themselves from the evils that they had been enslaved into. They planted their sacred cornfields again, raised their families, and again freely looked into the skies and sang voices of praise to their Creator Father. Rejoicing in me and my brothers, shining bright down on them, light their way again.
To honor these little ones that a lot of times died because they only knew their own language, and they were killed because they were trying to talk and they didn't know English. With all races. And we have been guided in how to do this by Native Americans. I said I wanted to honor these children, and I approached the leaders and I said, how can I do this?
This bag contains cedar. This is tobacco that is grown in the reservation in North Carolina. This is white sage. This is grown in the Midwest, New Mexico. These cedar bundles here were wrapped by one of the elder women. She went and picked this and hand wrapped this. This here is corn. It's one of the most sacred. I'm doing with this is I'm trying to free the air of impurities. I'm gonna light this stick. If anyone wants to be smudged some, my wife will come around and she will smudge you. As a memorial, we are gathered to pay respect to the many children who lost their lives, known as Gala Loli, Nogwe Shi, Yusti, little heavenly stars. These stars died while attending various native schools throughout Canada and the United States. There's been over 2,800 bodies discovered in unmarked graves at these schools. And these are just one in Canada. Their little spirits have cried out to our God and Creator. And now these little heavenly stars have started being found up in grave sites near many Canadian legacies of residential schools across Canada. They endured horrific abuse in these schools. Starvation, severe punishment, sexual abuse, disease, and more. These children's ages ranged from 3 years old to 16 and 17 of age. Very few have been identified and are able to be returned to their families. The same has happened within our United States tribes across the country at various schools, most of which are in the plans nations had Catholic influences. No one will never know the exact amount of children who have been lost between 1890 and 1990. We are here to remember these little souls that can now be called heavenly stars. I have a few bundles here. If I could have a few of you just come get these bundles. We're going to tie them onto this tree. As you hold this tiny child tobacco bundles, say a prayer for each bundle. Say prayers for the people you have lost in your lives. Say prayers for the families of these children and their loss. The loss of any kind of effects on us. Just take a moment.
And honor the children. I know it's a new thing, but that's okay. This is a tiny little child that you're remembering.
After you're done, I'll ask you, will you come over to this tree and tie your bundle to the branches of these trees? We will hear all of your prayers. Tonight, look up at the stars in the sky and know that some of these beautiful stars are in heaven. And many of these little souls saying thank you for your prayers. Continue to remember these children and all the children, whether native or not. We are all human and the same. But children, they're all special. Thank you, Tamara Hicks and Aaron Nichols. Missing children, because there's no orange as a race. I'm going to put this sage and this grandmother's blend on this gourd, and I'm going to set it by this tree until it goes out. Thank you for all your